Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Haunted Tales. Today we will be going into another mystery yet to be explained. Viewers' discretion is advised. I was at a family gathering one day, not sure about the time or date. It was a normal day, we ate and talked as usual. Me and my cousins then started talking about a field nearby that is known to have supernatural entities. He told me last time he went there, something happened. As usual, we didn't believe him. Sometime later, we decided to go check it out as it was getting a little boring in the house. It was dark, but there is a lot of lights in the area at night where we were. We drove around the block for a bit just to see what the car is like. We drove through the open gate of the rumored haunted field, initially finding nothing unusual. However, as we ventured deeper into the road, the windscreen wipers mysteriously turned off on the dry night. At first, we suspected a prank from the driver, but knowing him, we knew he wouldn't do such a thing. The car began to decelerate on its own, even as we continued to drive into the field. We had the windows down, which is not a good idea, but we were getting a little hot in the car, which might have been the fear kicking in. There was a weird feeling as we went further in, like we were being watched by a group of people. The car then came to a complete stop, and most of the lights in the car began flashing, such as the engine and fuel light. We then saw another car drive past into the distance, which were surprised, as this is not the type of place to go at night. We saw the car as it went and passed, then we didn't see it again. I just assumed that maybe he had a house somewhere up the road, but I don't think the road led to anywhere. The driver struggled to start the engine, but after several attempts, it finally turned on. Despite the relief, an eerie atmosphere lingered, prompting us to decide it was time to leave. We reversed the car and headed toward the exit, battling gusting winds and a malfunctioning windscreen wiper. The car's lights flickered, and it struggled to accelerate beyond its current speed. It sounded like the wind was speaking to us, and was not an experience I would recommend. At some point, I felt like I was being pushed behind the seat, or like the car was being pushed out of the gate. The entire time, I felt a presence, as if there were entities both drawing us in and pushing us away for our safety. The windscreen wipers frantically slashed back and forth, and we felt constantly watched. I was relieved we weren't stranded in the darkness, where visibility was limited. I believe the outcome would have been drastically different if we'd had to exit on foot. We heard what sounded like whispers, but couldn't determine if they were human or just the wind. I can't remember if the windows were going up, so I omitted that detail from the story. We tried searching for others in the pitch-black darkness, but found no one. As we approached the gate, the car began to drive normally, and the engine light and other indicators turned off. Everything else returned to normal after that, but the experience will likely stay with us for years. It's possible that there's a scientific explanation for the car's malfunction, perhaps related to the area's specific conditions. However, the supernatural also remains a possibility. My uncle's ongoing car troubles, despite numerous repairs, suggest that something unusual might have occurred in that area. I found the old Victorian house on Willow Creek. I knew I had to have it. It was a Gothic masterpiece, shrouded in mystery, and I was determined to unravel its secrets. The locals warned me about the house, whispering tales of strange occurrences and a dark history. But I dismissed their fears as old wives' tales. After all, what could be more exciting than living in a haunted house? The first night, I slept soundly, but the next morning, I awoke with a strange feeling of dread. The house seemed to be watching me, its eyes peering out from the shadows. I tried to shake off the feeling, but it persisted. As days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences became more frequent. Doors would creak open on their own, cold drafts would sweep through the house, and I would hear whispers in the night. I tried to ignore them, to convince myself it was just the wind or my imagination. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. One night, I was awakened by a blood-curdling scream. I jumped out of bed and raced downstairs. The source of the scream was the attic. With trembling hands, I opened the door. The attic was dark and dusty, but I could see a faint light coming from a corner. As I approached the light, I saw it. A figure, hunched over a small table, was performing a gruesome ritual. Blood splattered the walls, and the air was thick with the smell of death. I froze in horror, unable to move. The figure turned and looked at me. Its eyes were empty, devoid of any humanity. It let out a chilling laugh that sent shivers down my spine. Then, it lunged at me. I managed to escape the attic and slam the door shut, but I knew it wasn't over. The creature was still in the house, and it was coming for me. I ran downstairs and out the front door, my heart pounding in my chest. As I looked back at the house, I saw a figure standing in the window, watching me. Its eyes were filled with a cold, malicious hatred. Now let us go into the history of the house. The wealthy couple's dream of a modern, rural retreat began to unravel as construction progressed. Strange occurrences began to plague the house, with tools disappearing, doors opening and closing on their own, and eerie noises echoing through the night. The owner denied what they heard and continued moving into the house. The paranormal activities around the house then began. They started hearing footsteps in the hall, doors slamming shut, among other things. The couple, desperate for answers, brought in a team of paranormal investigators. Their conclusion was chilling. The house was haunted, and the renovations might be disturbing its ghostly inhabitants. The hauntings intensified, with mournful moans and whispers echoing through the house at night. The investigators even reported seeing ghostly apparitions gliding through the corridors. The couple, unable to endure the haunting, eventually abandoned the house. Those who dared to explore the abandoned dwelling claimed to have seen a ghostly figure, though some dismissed these sightings as imagination. The only plausible explanation would be if someone had been possessed while exploring the house, becoming a spectral guardian of the property. The haunting cries, reported by some visitors, might be evidence of this ghostly presence, watching over and scaring away intruders. So, do you think the house is haunted? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The first story was shared by one of us, and we thought it was too spooky not to include. Thanks for watching today's video. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you in the next one.